You see, the Beatitudes are statements of blessing and promise. They are glimpses of what living in the kingdom of God or heaven could be like. At the outset, Jesus highlights the abundance of God's blessings, though he shockingly names the recipients as those least expected. I wonder how we may be changed if we weekly walked through the front door and was confronted with a large printed poster of the Beatitudes. Or if we placed in large copies of each of the verses and posted them around this space, and we quietly focused on one or two a week and shared our thoughts. The emphasis on these sayings is happily on blessings, not condemnation. And while Jesus blesses those who have some understanding of what it meant to follow him, Jesus also encouraged those who are not quite on board. Some translations say happy rather than blessed, and that may be helpful to some of you this morning. Or indeed, it may be more confusing, as both terms can be as clear as mud as to how such people could feel blessed. Yet the kingdom of God as represented here consists not in power and authority, but in relationships among the children of God. The Beatitudes identify our kin in the kingdom. Who is it that share with us that distinct relationship with God? Specifically, this family includes all who are threatened, oppressed, downtrodden, and as their sisters and brothers, we must begin to give life to those who have none or little, to remove oppressive relationships of one person over another, to liberate people from any kind of fear, not to condemn or judge people, but to give them hope and a new future. Jesus' words must have shocked his listeners because they loudly proclaim God's favor upon masses of people who have no power, no authority in the world. We usually translate Jesus' words as blessed are, as translated in Greek, in a passive sense. In the Aramaic version, however, Jesus' translation is much more proactive and not at all passive. Either way, the Beatitudes have to be seen as springboards for all of our behaviors, our decisions, our choices, our priorities, and our relationships. If the Beatitudes are a description of a reality, what world do they actually describe? Certainly not our own. Blessed are the meek, says Jesus. But in our world, the meek don't get the land. They got left holding worthless beads, a mirror, or some other trinket of colonization. Blessed are they who mourn, said Jesus. But in our world, mourning may be tolerated for a brief while. But soon we're told to pull our socks up, get ourselves together, and move on. Blessed are the peacemakers, said Jesus. But in our world, those who desire peace are called unrealistic or politically weak. I ask you this morning, which of the Beatitudes make you feel uncomfortable, and why? You see, each of the 9 sayings indicate that a type of advocacy is needed. Who will advocate for those who mourn? Who will advocate for the weak? Who will advocate for the hungry? Who will show mercy? That's us. We have to. We must. Us as individuals, us as a community, us as a government, us as activists, us as a community of faith. We are blessed to be a blessing. The Beatitudes should be read as Jesus' manifesto for transformation in the community that he started. They reveal what he intends his community and our community to look like. The Beatitudes address those who experience all kinds of oppression, as well as those who have been targeted for their beliefs. The sayings clearly promise blessings to the oppressed. The prophet Micah, as we heard this morning, implores us yet again, what does God require of you? And as we sang, to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly before God. There are similar entreaties and blessings for people in the First or the Old Testament by many other prophets. Thousands of years later, Jesus' words were not new, but they were revolutionary. While there have been many prophets since then, thousands of years later, another prophet stood before crowds of people on a platform in Washington, D.C., in a place called the Mall, or as some people will say, the Mall. He proclaimed that he too had been to the mountaintop. He had a dream. His dream was based on the very Beatitudes of Jesus, that one day. It was about the kingdom of God on earth. He called it the beloved community. Such a community was about making peace on earth amongst groups who saw themselves as enemies. He saw his community as God's revolution based on nonviolence, restorative judgment, justice, and peace, a place that would be a refuge for the abandoned and the shunned. We recall segments of that speech. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of God shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling chords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we'll be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together. That's what the Beatitudes are about. And this will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing a new and joyous song. He too sent out disciples. But 3 weeks ago, as we recognized Dr. Martin Luther King Sunday, we saw that social justice matters, peace, still seems elusive. In closing, the Beatitudes look simple to comprehend, but they really are complex on several levels. So please allow me to humbly present to you some contemporary Beatitudes, all 9 of them. 1, blessed are the marginalized, for they are extravagantly welcomed in the culture of God. 2, blessed are those who care for the earth, for they promise a healthy, dynamic ecosystem that cares for all. Blessed are the bold, for they see the culture of God manifested before their eyes. 4, blessed are the emphatic, for they heal the brokenness in our world. 5, blessed are the inclusive, for they see through the eyes of nothing less than love. 6, blessed are those with integrity, for in their hearts, minds, words, and actions are one. 7, blessed are those who commit themselves to peace, for they disarm violence. Blessed are those who organize, those who struggle and sacrifice for freedom and equality, for they bend the moral arc of the universe towards justice. 9, this one, to live fully into the culture of God, we need to realize that we are all blessed. We are all children of the divine source, as we express and we understand it. Blessed are we in the amazing diversity and humanity of God. Blessed are we in the amazing diversity of our ethnicity, our age, our ability, our orientation, for we make visible the glory, the compassion, the divinity, and the humanity of God for a waiting, wanting world in need. May it be so. May it be so.
as we reflect